Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we have got my reactions to my Premier League predictions for this season that's just gone by. What a season we've had. So many memories, so many good games, so many incredible games, performances, rising stars, ballers, um, shocks, a lot that has happened um, this season. But as always, you know, the predictions, how many have I got right? We'll look through as we go. This was a 37-minute video, so I will obviously be not watching the whole thing, but only going through bits by bits, and even some bits are a minute long. But I try to cut it down as much as I can, but also leaving in a bit of explanation and details as to why I chose that team for that spot. So obviously you can see with how I did it. Obviously I went to get what do you call this? Um, I mean they do this for the blind rank, not blind rank, the ratings in it. But the table, the tier list maker, um, and obviously it's already sorted, so it is my position. So obviously for relegation, for example, it will be 18th on the left, 19th in the middle, and 20th on the right, so far and so forth, right? But let's start off with my 20th team that I have predicted. um in 20th, I'm gonna go with Sheffield United. I think, yes, they've got a couple of good players. Yes, they've got Ahmed Hozic, I think it is, at centre back. They got Sander Berge. Striker wise, they don't really have much going forward. And again, to stay in the Premier League, I think most importantly, you need to score. And if you don't score, you need to have a good defense. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, they might have a good defense, but I am fearful for Sheffield United because I don't think they're gonna score enough. I think you need. Well, I'll just cut it there. Spot on with the first one. Sheffield United did actually finish in 20th with just 3 wins and 7 draws. So obviously they picked up 16 points, not the lowest tally, of course, but was it hard to predict? Not really. Look, I think it would have been easier to put a team like Luton Town in there, but Sheffield United, compared to the other two at the start of the season, were underwhelming because with Burnley, we knew the qualities they had when they came into the league. With Luton Town, we knew that they would have the atmosphere and the fans would be behind the team. But with Sheffield United, they've been in the league before, they finished well, but it's almost like they are a Norwich or Watford. They go up, they go back down, and then they come back up again. So I don't think that there was the kind of guarantee that they were gonna do well, and I think that that is obviously the issue here. In 19th, um, in 19th, yes, I would love to see this incredible story continue, but I'm gonna go with Luton Town. What I do think that they have that Sheffield United don't have is the fact that they've just come up. They were in the League Two a few years ago, and they've got their way all the way up to the Premier League. You know, their stadium is literally by where everyone's buildings and houses are. I think the atmosphere, I think the fans will back this team, and this club. As I said, look, Luton Town, I have them 19th. They finished actually in 18th, better than Sheffield United and Burnley, which we'll get on to later on in the video. Where did I put them? But Luton Town, I didn't think they were gonna finish bottom, but neither did I thought that they were going to finish 18th. I think they definitely performed at a higher level than everyone expected them to. But I think a lot of people did put Luton bottom simply because of the lack of experience and how are they going to be able to deal with everyone else, with the kind of money every other team and every other club has. And I think that they've done well. 18th place, they're not that far off. They're only 6 points away from Nottingham Forest, which, if you think about it, actually isn't that big of a gap. It's 2 wins, right? So, fair play to them, but it just wasn't enough. Moving on, we have got the next team. As of now, I'm gonna say Wolves are gonna go down, and this is my punchy shout. This is my shout that is going to get hate a lot, and this is probably gonna be my most wrong shout. In fact, it's gonna be the one that probably gets the worst, because guess what, Wolves are gonna finish 10th, aren't they, or something like that. But as of now, Nathan Collins has gone, they have not replaced him. Conor Cody has gone, they have not replaced him. João Moutinho, Ruben Neves have gone, they have not replaced him. Them. Jimenez, Diego Costa, they've both gone. The spine of that team have all left. The main part, the middle section of the team, the spine, has left. And what are they gonna do? Next up, for 18th, I had Wolves. In 18th, actually, it was Luton Town. I mean, look, Wolves finished 14th. They've finished 20 points ahead of Luton Town. And I still remember doing this 9 months ago, and it was obviously a tough window for them with so many players leaving. Like I said, Nathan Collins, Conor Cody, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, Diego Costa, Raul Jimenez. That just wasn't the guarantee, and I don't think it was convincing enough to show and prove that they were going to be able to improve or finish in a place in the league with the likes of even a Brentford, for example. I just didn't feel it, and I think there were people who did predict Wolves to go down because of this reason as well, whereas they sold all their players, at least their players in the spine, and it just didn't give you the convincing vibes. And for them to obviously prove a lot of people wrong, I mean, you have to give them credit for that, definitely. But that was not a great shout whatsoever. Next up, it is my 17th, the team that just escaped relegation. It's my wild card to go down. In 17th, I'm gonna go just Burnley. I think they will do it, but I don't think it's gonna be a season that everyone expects, that they finish 13th or 14th. I think, in a sense, I was right, because they didn't finish 13th to 14th, but they didn't finish 17th either. Look, a lot of people did hype Burnley up at the start of the season. Obviously Vincent Kompany's Burnley, they played really well. They played incredibly well in the Championship the year before. The expectation was they were going to come in and they were going to be able to compete and fight with your teams like Wolves, Nottingham Forest. And they ended up finishing 19th, which is pretty disappointing. I mean, finishing below Luton Town is disappointing, for Burnley. And this is a Burnley side that won the league convincingly in the Championship the year before, as I said. So, disappointing for Burnley, but certainly I never really got that feeling that they were going to finish, 13th, 14th, as a lot of people thought. And, that surely has to be one of the better Burnley predictions that I've seen. Survive. Afterwards, you've got a few bunch of them fighting down there, don't you? I'm gonna go with Everton next. And for me, they're 16th. I think Everton will finish 16th. Was it not like the last 2 years in a row that Everton have survived on the last day or something? I think Sean Dyche is, a great manager. Um, he's a man manager, isn't he? Basically, but I like his style of play, proper Brexit, 4-4-2. But I'm looking at the squad that he has, and I'm not. Next up, for my 16th place, I had Everton. They finished in 15th. Just one away. Look, that was really gonna be the area that Everton are gonna finish in. Obviously, with the point deducted, as well. Without the point deduction, they probably could have finished 13th to 14th, much better than where they finished in 15th. But obviously, I would say it's an improvement from the past 2 seasons where they just escaped relegation. And obviously, I said that the squad depth just wasn't really there. Look, last summer they brought in the likes of Danjuma in as well. And overall, I just don't think that they have managed to play well in terms of the football. But obviously, to grind out the results, to get the results, they have done exceptionally well, I would say, to do so. So, fair enough to Sean Dyche for what he has done. Next up, we've got 15th. In 15th, I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest. I think they will survive. I think Steve Cooper is quality, and I think he is good enough to keep them in this league as he's already done so. Lots of things went wrong. Obviously, Nottingham Forest as well did get points deducted. I predicted them for 15th. They finished 17th. 6 points clear of relegation. And also, Steve Cooper was no longer there. Basically, in, I want to say December, or was it November? Around that time period anyways. And obviously Nuno Espirito Santo came in and has changed the team. This team is starting to play and has been playing well. The re-evolution of Callum Hudson-Odoi, the likes of Anthony Elanga as well, Taiwo Awoniyi, Morgan Gibbs-White, and they've added lots of high, high known names like Sangare, Felipe, and they've played well. But for 17th, I feel like that's a disappointing finish. I really do. With the kind of squad they have compared to the rest that are around that zone, they should be doing a lot better than they did. But they survived, and that I think is probably the most important thing for Nottingham Forest. I think they're safe. 14th, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go Bournemouth in 14th. And I'm gonna say that because they do look like they've got a good team. They've just brought in that left back, I forgot his name, didn't they? They've brought in, what's it, Castrovilli. It looks like Alex Scott might come in as well. So they are clearly improving and upgrading positions that they need. I think they are fine. I think Bournemouth are fine. In 14th, I had Bournemouth. Bournemouth actually finished 12th. Not the furthest away. I've seen a lot of people give Bournemouth 16th, 17th even. Look, the first few games of the season, I think they were down in 18th, if I'm not wrong, or 17th. After the first few games, Andoni Iraola, not the greatest start, but the owners have done really well, to not panic and, sack him after the first few games. They stuck by him when the times were getting tough, and now they finished 12th, which is, I think, their highest league finish and the most amount of points tally that they've had in their Premier League history. So, fair enough. 12th place, a pretty good finish for Bournemouth. 13th, I'm gonna go Crystal Palace. A fairly good squad, young players. Is Eberechi Eze gonna stay? Michael Olise might go to Chelsea. Zaha has already left. The striker situation, Edouard and Mateta, they're not gonna be able to score enough goals for this team. In 13th, I had Crystal Palace. Look, Eze and Olise did stay, and Olise was looking like he was going to go to Chelsea when this video was recorded. I said Mateta and Edouard were not going to score enough goals. I still don't think Edouard will score enough goals. Mateta, last couple of weeks, he cooked. Olise and Eze cooked. This team started playing incredibly well in the last couple of weeks, certainly. But I think that it's a bit overhyped. I'm not saying that they don't deserve the credit they deserve, but I think that it is almost like, you know what, they're the new hip hop team, that the new, new boy in town kind of thing. It's only been a few weeks. Let Oliver Glasner do his thing. Obviously, at the time of recording as well, it was still Roy Hodgson. So, 13th was pretty realistic. If you think about it, under Roy Hodgson, they ended up finishing 10th, which is not very, very bad at all. Not bad. For Crystal Palace, couple of teams in there. For 12th, I'm gonna go with West Ham. I'm worried. Not for them to get relegated. No, I think they're good enough to stay up when they've got quality players. I'm a massive fan of Lucas Paqueta. I think a player like him will single-handedly let them stay up. But what has happened to the Declan Rice replacement, boys? Now, reports this week coming out saying that they are interested in Edson Alvarez. That's a great signing. Go out there, get Edson Alvarez through the door, please. Thank you very much. But you still need another midfielder, because Alvarez, maybe defensively he can do what Rice gave, but dribbling numbers, he's nowhere near the quality of Declan Rice. Next up, for the higher mid-table teams, 12th place, I had West Ham. They ended up finishing 9th. A couple of positions, it could have been anywhere in that zone. Obviously, they won the Conference League the year before, the season before. But firstly, Declan Rice obviously leaving, and then it took them a long while to replace him with Edson Alvarez. And then obviously afterwards, James Ward-Prowse, which was what I said in the video. You have to get another player apart from Alvarez to be more of a box-to-box dribbler midfielder who can also create and score. But I just think overall, it's not been a great season. Kudus has done well, I thought. Paqueta has been mixed. But overall, it's just been disappointing. Now David Moyes is going to leave. Julian Lopetegui might come in. Obviously, a lot of work to be done for West Ham for the upcoming season. In 11th, I'm gonna go with Fulham. Expectations too high, maybe? I don't think so, When did it finish? Did it finish 10th last season? Next up, Fulham. I've had them in 11th. They actually finished 13th. Look, the season before they finished 10th, which was a very good result and position for them. I thought they were not gonna, finish 10th, but I thought they were gonna finish around there, 11th. And I think 11th and 13th, it's not that far off. They are only 1 point off 11th place Brighton, and they're only 2 points off 10th place Crystal Palace anyway. So you look at anywhere from Crystal Palace to even a Wolves in 14th. From 10 to 14, it's separated by 3 points. It could have really gone anywhere. It really could have. And I thought Fulham has done really well. I think Palhinha surely leaves this summer. Surely. I'm not saying I want him to leave, but surely he leaves this summer. I think he's just too good for a club like Fulham. No disrespect. 10th, Brentford. I think they will be fine. I think they're not going to go down. They're not going to be there. But the Ivan Toney replacement hasn't been there yet. Now, Kevin Schade came in, but I'm not sure he's going to be the out-and-out number 9. He's a very versatile player, can play on the wings. But I look at their front line. They've got Jan Visser, they've got Brian Burmo. but they don't have a number 9. So the number. Next up, 4, 10th, I had Brentford. Probably one of the worst ones I've done yet. They actually finished 16th. Look, I know they had no Ivan Toney, but I was very optimistic for Brentford under Thomas Frank, because this is a side that started the season before that by, was it beating Manchester United 4-0 or something? So the expectations for me was high. I thought that they were going to be able to do it. You look at the attack, no Toney, cool, but obviously they still had the likes of Mbeumo and Vissa, Damsgaard as well. I thought they were going to do much better than 16th. And 10th is, now that I think about it, 10th was wild. It was. But, 16th as well, it was pretty underwhelming for this team. 9th, I've gone Brighton. I want Brighton to do very well. But McAllister's replacement? Now reports are saying that they're looking at Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. Look, before I continue that shambles, Kudus didn't go to Brighton, he went to West Ham. McAllister and Caicedo's replacements were not there. I'm pretty sure when I recorded this, Caicedo hasn't left yet. McAllister did. No replacement. They ended up signing Dahoud and Milner, both been mixed. Overall signings, I think the only one I can think of that has been anywhere near good or very good has probably been João Pedro. I thought Igor has been, alright. Verbruggen, I thought, okay, you know what, he's been pretty good. But apart from that, it's been pretty disappointing for Brighton. I said 9th. I did thought that they were going to miss out on Europe, which they did. They finished 11th. But again, they were only, 4 points away from West Ham, who were in 9th. So, not the worst shout ever. 8th, everyone's going for Aston Villa. I'm going to go for Spurs. I don't think we can get too confident with Spurs just yet. Right. Hear me out. I know. They've got Ange Postecoglou. But, look. Son had an off season. Is he going to be able to recover? Kulusevski had a decent season. But, when he was playing at his best with Son and Kane, he was one of the best right wingers in the world. He's going to get back to that level. If Kane goes, how are they going to replace him? 8th, I had Spurs. They finished actually in 5th. Incredible first season from Ange Postecoglou. The only reason I didn't really wanted to believe in it is because obviously he didn't have that Premier League experience. He came from Celtic, and obviously he's only really managed in Scotland or obviously Japan and Australia. So it's not been convincing when he first came. The first 3 months of the season was incredible, and then they dipped, and they've ended up finishing 5th. I thought it's been incredible. In the video I said if Kane goes, how are they going to replace him? Look, Richarlison had a good stint. You're talking the November, December, January period. I thought he had a very good stint. Son has obviously done a lot more this season than he did the season before. And obviously with the likes of Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, Maddison coming in as well, it's been a revolution to the Spurs side. And you have to give them the credit that they deserve. Torres and Yuri Tillemans, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go Aston Villa to get that Europa Conference League spot. I think they would just edge Spurs out. Look, I did predict that Villa will finish slightly above Spurs. But in hindsight, Villa finished 4th. And Spurs finished 5th. So, I think I went too far back. Look, I thought it was going to be a so-called mid-table fight between Villa and Spurs. It ended up being a Champions League spot fight between Villa and Spurs. So, I did kind of get that feeling that Villa and Spurs were going to be fighting. But maybe not for the same kind of spots. Look, Villa, incredible season back in the Champions League. Unai Emery has done it. He has cooked. absolutely incredible. Um, I think that certainly was not what a lot of us, in fact most of us, expected, and you have to give them credit again. Fourth place for Aston Villa is a big achievement. I'm going sixth, Chelsea, and this might sound like disrespectful, but I think they finished 12th last season, so to get sixth would be good. And fifth, Newcastle United. So for me, Newcastle United miss out on top four. Sixth place, I had Chelsea, and they did finish sixth. Look, I'm very happy about this one. This is my second favorite. I have another one coming up, but two favorite predictions. My second correct one. The reason I'm happy about this is because I've seen a lot of people at the start of the season say Chelsea are gonna finish in the top four, or people say Chelsea are gonna finish below 10th again. So it was kind of a wild shout to put them in between in sixth, because they were obviously top four and top, 8, top 10, but obviously they've obviously had a very good end to the season. They've went from 10th and 9th to 6th to get Europa League. Of course, if Manchester United do win the FA Cup, they get Conference League. I don't think Man United will win the FA Cup anyway, so they'll probably get Europa League. Man United will get nothing. Newcastle United on the other hand, I said 5th, they finished 7th. So they will get Conference League if obviously things stay the way it does right now. But I'm proud of that Chelsea one. I really am. I'm very happy about that one. Because it's not easy to get that. For me, fourth, Manchester United. I compare to the other three, I don't see United getting first, second, or even third. Obviously, horrible. I said fourth, they finished 8th. They could still get Conference League football, but I think a lot of people were fooled by obviously that season, last season, the season before, where they finished third. And I didn't think they were going to replicate that again, but I genuinely thought they were going to give it a go and finish top 4 again. And they just disappointed this season. It's been poor. And it has been. And you can't defend that. You just can't defend the poor season that they've had. League and 1 champions. In third, I'm going to go Liverpool. Over Man United because I like the additions of McAllister and Szoboszlai, and I like the way that they got rid of Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, Naby Keita, 5 midfielders who were basically not effective last season. And in third, I had Liverpool, and they did finish third. This is another one along the Chelsea one that I'm really happy about, because it's the same thing. I've seen people say Liverpool are either gonna win the league, finish second, or finish 5th, 6th, or even 4th. Finishing third is an in between, really, from being in the top 2 and 4th/5th/6th. So, absolutely happy with this one. Obviously, back when this video was recorded, no one knew that Jurgen Klopp was gonna leave, anything like that. So it's been incredible. Great prediction. And lastly, how are we going to end off? Are we going to predict Man City or Arsenal to win the league? Second and first, the last two, I'm going to go with Manchester. I'm going to go Arsenal. And I'm going to go Man City. Man City champions again. Is that a surprise? No. Now, as I'm recording, the Community Shield final just gone by, and Arsenal won on penalties 4-1 after a 1-1 draw. And yes, Arsenal won that game against Man City, and yes, they won a trophy, but they won with an equalizer in that 101st minute. I'm sorry, but if that sounds anything convincing to you, no. And obviously, I had the final two correct. Man City and Arsenal first, second. Although what I said in the video, I don't think really came out as true. Look, it was kind of undermining Arsenal that they were not going to be able to push Man City, which they did. They were 2 points off, did it one day. At the end of the day, they did obviously do enough, but not enough at the same time. You know, they were 2 points off. And those 2 points could have been just another game. You know, if they didn't lose to Aston Villa at home, they would have won the league. That's simple as it is. But obviously, if buts and maybes, it's easy to say that. And Man City, as they always do, the dominant force, Pep Guardiola, he's gonna win it as long as he's here, because he's him, right? He is the guy, you know. And arguably as well, they've got a far better team than Arsenal. And you go every position, and Man City almost dominate this combined, so-called combined 11 with Arsenal. I think if I'm looking at Arsenal, and I'm looking at putting players in Man City, I'm probably looking at 3 to 4 players max. I'm looking at maybe Saliba, Declan Rice. There is a shot for Saka, and that's it. I think that if you're gonna do a combined team, you have Foden on the left, Saka on the right, Haaland up top. I think Kevin De Bruyne is still better than Odegaard. I think Rodri is the best team in the world, and I think Rice is better than Bernardo Silva. And then you've got Gvardiol, you've got Kyle Walker, Saliba, Ruben Dias, Ederson. I think you can only get 3 Arsenal players in the Man City team. And that obviously means that Man City are way clear of everyone else. And that is just that. But let me know what your thoughts are on my predictions. Let me know what your thoughts. Let me know what your predictions were. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel if it's on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.